In a move that is sending shockwaves across the international community, former U.S. President Donald Trump has once again raised serious doubts about America's commitment to its NATO allies. During recent statements on the campaign trail, Trump suggested that the United States might not defend certain NATO countries in the event of an attack, particularly those he believes are not contributing enough to their own defense. At the heart of this controversy lies NATO, the military alliance formed in 1949, built on a foundational principle known as Article 5. Article 5 states that an attack against one member is considered an attack against all. For decades, this principle has been the cornerstone of Western security, ensuring collective defense across North America and Europe. But Trump's remarks challenge that very foundation. According to his position, countries that fail to meet defense spending targets, specifically the benchmark of 2% of GDP, should not automatically expect U.S. protection. This is not the first time Trump has voiced such concerns. During his presidency, he repeatedly criticized NATO allies for what he described as free-riding on American military power, arguing that the United States bears a disproportionate share of the burden. However, the tone and implications of his latest statements appear more direct and more consequential. European leaders have reacted with concern. Countries like Germany, France, and Poland, all key NATO members, see the alliance as essential to their national security, particularly in the context of rising tensions with Russia. For nations located on NATO's eastern flank, the stakes are especially high. They rely heavily on the credibility of U.S. military support as a deterrent against potential aggression. If that credibility is weakened, the entire balance of power in Europe could shift. Security analysts warn that even the perception of uncertainty within NATO could embolden adversaries. Deterrence, after all, depends not only on military capability, but also on political commitment. If allies begin to question whether the United States would honor its obligations, it could lead to increased instability. At the same time, Trump's supporters argue that his position reflects a broader push for fairness. They point out that many NATO countries have historically fallen short of the 2% defense spending target, relying on U.S. military strength to fill the gap. In recent years, however, that trend has begun to change. Following major geopolitical events, including the war in Ukraine, several European nations have significantly increased their defense budgets. Countries like Poland have emerged as some of the alliance's top spenders relative to GDP, while others are gradually moving toward the target. Still, disparities remain, and for Trump, those disparities appear to justify a more conditional approach to collective defense. This raises a fundamental question. Can NATO remain effective if its core principle, collective defense, becomes conditional? Some experts believe that such a shift could push Europe to become more strategically autonomous. There have already been discussions about strengthening independent European defense capabilities, reducing reliance on the United States. At the same time, others warn that fragmentation within NATO could weaken the alliance at a time when unity is most needed. The broader geopolitical context only adds to the urgency. With ongoing tensions involving Russia, increasing competition with China, and instability in multiple regions, NATO's role remains critical. Any sign of division could have far-reaching consequences. For the United States, the debate reflects a deeper question about its role on the global stage. Should it continue to act as the primary guarantor of international security? Or should it adopt a more transactional approach, where commitments are tied directly to contributions? As the 2026 political landscape evolves, Trump's statements are likely to remain a central issue in discussions about foreign policy and national security. For now, one thing is clear: the future of NATO and the stability it provides may depend not only on military strength, but on political will. And in an increasingly uncertain world, that distinction has never been more important.